I'm Megan from TwoFeetFirst, and today we are talking about building a pull-out utensil drawer. So I built this utensil drawer because I was tired of having all my utensils on the countertop. I was really tired of just everything on the countertop. So I tried to condense everything into my cabinets. And so, for example, I created some drawers that slide out to hold my butcher block of knives. You can find a video for that in the description below. I also have other pull-out drawers, so you can find links to all of those. But this one I was super excited about because now everything that I need at the stove or to mix stuff is all right here, and it's not on top of the counter or it's not in the drawers cluttering everything. So if you would like to make one of these, stay tuned. To assemble this drawer, you're going to need this piece and this piece. These are the bottoms of the drawer. Then we have the side pieces. Some more pieces. These are just rails, guards. Some more trim pieces, and then our actual side pieces. The size of this pull-out utensil drawer is 6 5/16 inches wide by 29 inches tall and 21 inches deep. You can use my free printable that has all the measurements of this build by subscribing to my newsletter, or you can purchase my premium plans that have detailed diagrams of the build. Both of these are linked below in the description. In this video, I am using the cutting diagram from my premium plans. I used a table saw to cut 1.5 inch plywood into pieces needed for this build. After cutting, it was time to add the circles for the metal containers, notches for the side rails, and dados for the different elements of the build. Using the premium plans or free measurements to give you the cutting dimensions, mark the front and back pieces of the drawer to determine where the notches need to be cut for the side rails. Next, determine where the circles need to be placed on one drawer shelf. To create the circles, I placed a nail in the middle of the circle, tied a string to the pencil, and wrapped it around the nail to allow the pencil to mark the board to the correct size. Then I traced the circle onto the board. To allow the jigsaw to cut out the circles, I drilled a starter hole into the wood. As you can see, hold the jigsaw tight so that it doesn't jump around on you.
Next is cutting the notches for the rails. You can see one side has already been cut, so now it's time to cut the other side. To do this, I clamped a 1 by 2 inch scrap board to the distance of the jigsaw cut. As you can see, I did have to remove the board to start the notches, so save yourself the time and start the notches first. Also, I had issues with my saw blade not being sharp enough when cutting, so make sure you have a sharp blade before cutting or you will have splinters in your wood. It helped to have painter's tape under the board to keep the wood from splintering. After cutting, I tested the fit of the rails and adjusted the cut if needed.
Did some number to those guys.
Oh my gosh, I have the wrong blade and I tried to switch to the other blade and it was too flimsy. So like, see how this, so like this one's with that other blade. And look how nice that is. And then, because I had to switch because it just wasn't, it just wouldn't cut it properly. So I'm gonna have to fill in some stuff. But this is the back and it's the part that you don't see. So yeah, it'll be okay, but yeah, not very good.
Now it's time to cut the dado for the shelves. I used my table saw to create these. I adjusted the blade to cut into the wood 1/4 inch. And I will adjust the fence to give me the 1/2 inch dado because my blade is only an 1/8 inch. After creating a dado for each shelf of the drawer, there are 2, it was time to sand the wood. I used 220 grit sandpaper with my Orbital sander to give me a smooth finish, and if you notice, I also filled in the splinters on the front and back pieces that my blade caused. To sand the dado, I used a scrap 1.5 piece of plywood wrapped with sandpaper to sand these areas.
What you're going to do is you're going to start with one of these guys. Place it on the surface. This is the bottom of the drawer, and this is the top of the drawer. So this one goes to the top. So this one gotta be up here. And this one goes to the bottom. So we're gonna start at the bottom first. I'm gonna just try and check the fit of everything. So this is how it's gonna go together. So now we're just gonna add some glue to this guy and clamp it into place. Now these guys I made for a tight fit right here. So I will have to use a hammer to get them into place. I have my mallet for that. So I'm gonna add some glue before I put it on because I've already tested the fit of it. So I'm gonna just try and glue it into place and hammer it into place. And you want to make sure that the dado is actually aligned. So make sure that you're putting it the way that it actually should be going on. And now we're just gonna put the top piece on. But before that, I do need to hurry and glue the spots. Now to get things to hold in place, I am gonna nail. And I'm using 1-inch nails to drive this in.
I use blue motion drawer slides for this organizer, and these sliders are used under the drawer so you cannot see them. I created a template to cut the needed notches and holes for the slides. After, I installed the sliders according to the instructions. Then I added the metal containers and supplies and was left with this. Thanks for joining me for today's project. Be sure to click the thumbs up button if you like this video, and if you want to check out some more projects before you leave, there is a playlist queued up to the side that I think you'll love. If you're not subscribed already, I would love to have you as part of this community, so be sure to hit that subscribe button and bell to get notified of my future videos. And I'll be back here next week with another project. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you next time.